the Avenue Podcast. We back with another one. It's your big bro, Dev G. And as always, my super producer, Miss Portia Royale. What up, y'all? Welcome back. This is episode 4 now. We doing big things over here. And today's topic is a very interesting one, I must say. Should a relationship be a two-way street? Oh man, I see eyebrows raised already. Well, listen, this is how I would break this topic down. First, you got to ask yourself, how were you brought up? What did you see growing up? Was, grandma and grandpa in the house? Was mom and dad in the house? Because a lot of us come from broken homes. A lot of us come from, maybe we was raised by a grandma. So, of course, if there's only one person in the house, then only one person is doing everything. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at the history of a person. So let's take it back. Let's just say, for instance, you grew up with grandma and grandpa. So back then, grandpa was out working, whatever it was, and grandma was at home doing what? Everything. Grandma was cooking. Grandma was cleaning. You know what I'm saying? You had to take your bath and you had your little things and your little chores and stuff you did around the house to make your little 50 cent of your dollar, whatever it was, right? So if you look at the old days like that, it was a two-way street. Everybody was doing their part. You had your chores, grandma had the house, and grandpa was at work. Now, moving forward, let's say, when you were born, you didn't have grandma and grandpa. Let's say you were born into mom and dad. So you had the mom and dad and maybe brothers and sisters. So now there's 3 people in the house that have chores or responsibilities. So mom and dad doing their jobs, you got your chores. You had to mow the lawn, you know what I'm saying? You had to vacuum the living room. Little sister had to do this, big brother had to do that. So everybody was doing their part, you know what I'm saying? It was a team effort. Now, moving forward, let's say you only had one parent in the household. Now that comes that's me. So you got one parent in the household. Dad or mom is at work. So there is no one else to do it but you. So you stuck with all the chores, you know what I'm saying? But that was just your job. That's just how it was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Moms or pops is at work. So you gotta, keep things together. And now obviously, when they come home, they're gonna cook and do little things around the house. But for the most part, it's really a one-way street in that situation. Now moving forward to our generation, I feel like everything has changed because of money. So because now when I look at relationships, I see people who make a lot of money are the ones doing everything. It's not like there's no more like, okay, the woman's gonna cook you dinner. When you get home, you're gonna have dinner. No, it's like nowadays you get home and she in there waiting on her Birkin bag. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything has changed so much, and I feel like it should be a two-way street. It's very important that people carry their weight, because what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a lot of drama, and you're gonna create a lot of space between that relationship. And the whole point of a relationship, obviously, is you want to be together, you want to be happy. But people aren't pulling their weight today. So what we need to do is we need to understand, we need to get back to it being a two-way street. If I'm at work all day, then okay, you know what I'm saying? Push that vacuum, you know what I'm saying? Get the dinner ready, because when I come home, then I'm gonna join you. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't like you doing all the work, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I grinded, I'm gonna come home. Can I get a plate, boo-boo? You know what I'm saying? And then, on the weekends, we gon', you know what I'm saying? Vacuum, we gon', I'll do the dishes, you do that. We work together. If it's a system and teamwork, then you work together, then that makes everything okay. But if it becomes just a one-sided thing where you got to do everything, that's going to create distance in the relationship, and that shit ain't going to work out. You know what I'm saying? Miss Portia, what you think? You think the man should do everything and just buy you whatever you want? Or do you think that the woman should pull her weight a little bit?
I think that it should work both ways.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that they should equally invest in that relationship in every capacity. So financial, emotional, mental, physical, every aspect possible. I think that that's what promotes a healthy relationship, a healthy example. And I think it promotes more of a balance, not just in that relationship, but for other relationships as people are observing and adopting what they see works, right? These 20, 30, 40, 50-year relationships. I'm sure even those current day, there is more reciprocity than we know exists. At least that's what I've seen personally and had conversations about. But I do feel like that just is a more productive, wholesome, happy relationship. So absolutely, relationships should be a two-way street. It should go both ways.
I'm glad you said that. Now, let me ask you this though. So do you feel like there are specific duties for the man and specific duties for the woman, or do you feel like, I mean, you guys kind of work that out amongst yourselves?
That's an excellent question. Because me personally, I think this is relative. I think everybody's different. Me personally, I believe that there is a bit of roles, but there's some flexibility within those roles, right? So, for example, cooking. I do believe the man can cook too.
Of course, yeah.
Be a woman task.
I agree too. Yeah.
Cleaning can't just be a woman task. But if we're talking about lawn work, taking out the trash, I feel like that's more of a man's thing.
I mean, you know what? But think about it. Okay, let's say the trash chute is right down the hall. I mean, either one of you guys can take out the trash, because if you go into your car or something to go to the grocery store, go to work, you can just grab a bag and take. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I've heard a lot of women say, "Oh, the trash is the guy's job." But if you're on your way to the car and the trash is on the way, why you can't grab that little Glad bag? You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. I get that, and I feel like, well, it's not about whether we're able to do it, right? Because we do it when we're single. We take the trash out when we're single. I think it's just that when you have that relationship with someone, and this happens to be heterosexual man and woman, I feel like in that particular setup, from my personal views, because everybody's different. Some other women, including other men, might feel differently. But for me, I still feel like that's something that they should do. They should cut the yard, trim the bushes, take out.
Definitely, I agree with that.
And then, in other aspects that are more flexible, not as hard, which taking out the trash, depending on how heavy that bag isn't really necessarily as hard, right? But like, I think that there's flexibility in those other tasks where you can kind of switch off and kind of meet the need that is needed in that moment. Maybe in situations, I'll even take it here with the trash, just going back to that. Maybe he works 12-hour shifts, right? Back to back.
Sounds familiar.
Trash has to go out on Friday because of school on that day, right? And let's say they either just got off work or that's their first day off, right? Well, I think I would just go ahead and take the trash on that one. Because that person most likely is exhausted, right? So it's about seeing the need and filling the need where you can. And just having that balance, having the conversation. I think this is important to talk about when you're dating so that you know what that balance is. Because if these are things that are considered deal breakers or high annoyances, right? Where it's like, okay, this could lead to an argument. I think that this should be discussed, and then you kind of either be flexible if that person is worth it, or if you happen to be on the same page, great, it works out. But this is where I think that these conversations should happen. Me personally, now I really want him to take out the trash and do the hard work. Like, at least do that. At least. And I'm flexible as hell on the other stuff. But like, that for me.
So vacuuming, doing the dishes, we can compromise. We can
we can compromise.
I'm vacuuming, you got the kitchen.
There you go.
Okay.
It's about that balance. I ain't asking to clean the whole fucking house.
Right.
But like, but like, well, at least by yourself. Yeah. Like,
so how do you feel? How do you feel as a woman? How you feel about the bathroom? How you feel about the toilet?
About the cleaning the toilet?
Yeah.
Or are we talking about
Because fellas, we blowing that motherfucker up. So how do you feel about cleaning the bathroom? Is that a man thing too, or can we?
I think that's a both of us thing for sure.
Okay.
Like,
So you don't mind it?
No, not at all. I mean, if you're gonna be with somebody and y'all are going to share in spaces that is not something you do with everybody, I think that that's pretty intimate enough for the bathroom not to be a problem. That's just kind of like
okay,
right? I feel like with the bathroom, if we're talking about cleanliness, toilet, tub, whatever, sink, whatever, that should be, as you see it's getting dirty, if it's before, like, because I do cleaning every week.
Yeah.
And in between that, if I see something that needs to be cleaned, then you clean it. Like obviously when you cooking throughout the week, you're making dishes, you clean that. You don't wait until the week mark to clean, as an example.
See, I'm one of those guys who, when I'm cooking, I'm actually doing the dishes too. So
no, facts, me too.
When I'm done, it's already done.
Yeah,
that's just me. That ain't everybody.
Like that. Yes.
Yeah, that's just me. It's like I learned that like from my aunties. It's like clean as you go. So when you're done eating, you tired, you ain't got to worry about that. Ain't no dishes,
No, I'm exactly like that too. And I feel like in the same capacity, it's like, if you use the restroom, let's say you blew it up, not to get too graphic, not to get too graphic, but let's say you blew it up, right?
Right, right.
The toilet looks a little crazy, even after you flush.
I mean, you should take care of that right then.
Clean it. That's what I'm saying. Don't leave, and then I come in, and then it's like, now why didn't you clean that?
But I know some cats, man. I know some cats that don't care. They not cleaning up after themselves, and it's like that could cause a lot of drama in a relationship too. Like,
absolutely,
you know what I'm saying? It's just like you don't want your man going 2-3 days without no shower. You know what I'm saying? So
no, not even a day. Not even a day. But I think that's important. Is like, this is why conversations are important when you're getting into these relationships, to be able to source out, okay, would this relationship work? Not just in the compatibility of us being social with each other, engaging each other, our attraction to each other, but the things that come with that person. Baggage isn't just about your history, it's about how you live.
How you live, yeah. So like your duties as a woman, your duties as a man.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because
so how do you feel about, like, how long should a guy pay when you guys go out to eat? Like, at what point do you feel like, okay, now you guys can split that? Because I know a lot of my friends in relationships, the guy is still paying, and it's like they already like, you know what I'm saying, like 3 months in. It's like, at what point should a woman, you know what I'm saying, like, step in? Like,
I wonder, like, because I think all of this really is relative, but I feel like specifically with that though, it's like what both parties in the relationship is comfortable with. Like for me, why would I be splitting a bill?
Right.
If I'm in a relationship with you, like, we're not friends, we're actually in a relationship, and we're splitting a bill at dinner. That don't even make, for me, that would be a turn off. Like, automatically done. Now me, I tend to pay a lot, not at inception, but like, my thing is, I was raised to think in the way of like doing things for yourself, but being gracious enough to share in that. So I a lot of times will pay, because that's just like, it feels weird to have people pay for me. Like, I don't like taking money from people.
Okay.
I don't like people paying for me, including in relationships, but I'm learning to be more comfortable with that. So more than it's like an issue, and at inception especially, like, if that guy is interested, which most likely that's how it would have to work for me, because I'm more traditional. So if he's asking me out, then yeah, you are supposed to pay.
Then you're supposed to pay,
as time goes on, like, if we get into a relationship, I have a tendency to pay more, because for me though, this is just for me. I have a tendency to pay more because I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with people spending money on me for whatever reason. I think it's that because I just have that mentality from how I was raised, but like, I struggle with letting people pay for me. So
it's like a year in, and
I don't know.
He can't pay for the bill? What? That's still
I am weird like that, but that's just me.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, I don't see a guy complaining about that, but I just feel like once you're in a relationship, I mean, it depends on how long, because you could be in a relationship for a year and you don't have a joint account. So at what point, how do you know who pays? Is it just always the guy should pay, or can it be
Whoever
split?
set it up. No, I would never split though.
Okay.
I feel like splitting it. It's just something about that.
Not like split it in half at the table. I just mean like this date you're paying, next date I'm paying.
Oh yeah, that's how it should be.
I don't mean like split it at the table.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because I'm like splitting the bill is weird.
I mean just split the time. Yeah.
I think that it goes based on who set it up. Just like I said in the beginning, like if you ask me out, then why wouldn't you be paying? You asked me out.
Right.
You're
my girlfriend. But you're my girlfriend though.
Does
that still matter? Really?
If it's that, no. If it's that, I think it's more about who set it up, because at that point, it's not us just like dating to get to know each other, to see where it goes. You're already invested. So I feel like it depends on the setup of that relationship. Maybe you pay for those dates and she pays for other things.
Okay.
Or vice versa. Or you mix it up. You rotate it out. Hey, I'm gonna do this.
Rotate it out.
Yeah, like it.
Like I got the last 3, so now you get the next 3. Can
but I don't think it's. I mean, you can do any of that, but I think that when it's a relationship that's cohesive, it's just like with whatever flow that they have in that relationship, which goes back to the beginning. It's like those discussions of like, how do you operate in this space? And what makes you most comfortable. If I'm with a guy that's like, no, I don't want you to ever have to pay for anything, we're gonna have to talk about that. Because for me,
I mean, if he's a baller or something, he probably ain't never gonna let you pay. He ain't never gonna let you pay though. Because from what I've seen, I know ballers, they don't let no girls pay ever.
And they should. I mean, if you got the money, but I mean, common sense, right? Common sense. But
if you both got regular jobs, and ain't nobody balling, I mean, you gonna have to trade off.
That's
because you got your apartment, he got his apartment, you got your bills, he got his bills. So it might be that weekend he really want to take you out, but you know what I'm saying? But he just paid his bills and he ain't got a lot of cheese. You know what I'm saying? You got to come through.
That scenario.
You got to come through, honey.
Oh no. But I guess
like, babe, I'm trying to see you. What?
I haven't been in that kind of relationship, so I can't really speak to that dynamic.
I mean, people watching right now, it's thousands of people who are in them right now.
I believe they exist. As far as what decision to make in those moments, it's hard for me to say like right now, because I haven't been in that kind of setup. I'm like, why the fuck would you want to take me out and ain't got no damn money? Like, we probably shouldn't be dating. Like, you need to focus on your finance. But that's just me. That's just, it's not for them.
There's some other girls out there that's just thinking just like you.
Let me be clear though. It's not just, I feel like they should focus on their finances. If I ain't got no fucking money, why am I trying to date? I need to be figuring out how to get my damn money together, right?
Now that's a different perspective. If you ain't got your cheese up, why are you trying to date?
That's what I'm saying.
Fellas.
Females.
Get your
girls,
cheese up.
gals, all of them. Like, you need it's again.
Get that foundation first.
Right. Yeah. It is a two-way street. It's for the women too. Why are you trying to get with a guy and you can't even keep a roof over your head?
Right.
You couch surfing. Unless the agenda is to get with somebody that got money and use that relationship with them to get off the street. If your agenda is that, then I can't speak on that. That's not how I live, right? I don't have a perspective when it comes to that, because I don't live like that. For me, if I'm looking to get in a relationship, I want to make sure that I'm not bringing certain baggage that doesn't have to be there. Financial baggage, that's something that, even though it'll take time, that's something you can figure out. But again, it's up to anybody. If that's how you want to do it, that's your life. Me personally, I can't speak to that scenario you gave earlier, because for me, I don't want to date somebody that don't have their finances in order. Where I appreciate that you can take me out, but it is a turn off that you can't afford it. Even if it's Applebee's. Even if it's Applebee's, we ain't talking about no 5-star fine dining.
Right, you ain't talking about maestros.
You can't do it 2 for $20. What is going on?
Like, you know, come on, man. Call Big Bro Daddy. I'll front you some cheese to take your girl out, dog.
Oh my God.
I got a dub for you, homie.
I'm just saying, like that for me, and that also tells me too, your priorities are not right.
Ooh, yeah.
That speaks a lot. Your priorities aren't right if you so focused on chasing skirts, as you say, taking your chasing skirts. With your damn, you in the negative in your checking account, and your savings is zero.
Speak on it.
Have a problem. It's like you have to have your affairs in order before you start to engage things that is another level of responsibility. Because when you date somebody, also the reason why I want my finances to be in order is that if you do hit a hard time, I can help.
Yeah.
Because again, my purpose for dating is to pursue something lifelong.
Right.
If I decide to get in a relationship with you, I want to make sure that I can help you when you hit a hard time, and prayerfully, because nobody knows until you know, it'll be reciprocated if I also hit a hard time. Sometimes and prayerfully it would hit at different times if we hit hard times, right? But like, if it's, and that's another perspective too, if it's a relationship, right, where y'all were both good when you started, and then shit just goes down.
Somebody get lazy. One of y'all get lazy, and
No, not even lazy. You know, things happen. Layoffs.
That's true.
You gotta let go. Shit happens, and you like, holy fuck, right?
Yeah, or a pandemic.
Like, pandemic, right? And it's like, oh shit, I did not expect to be in this position, but it happened, and I've been in this relationship for 5 years.
Yeah.
If that were my situation, I wouldn't leave him, because that's completely different.
No, right.
Already
established. Time to get it right. Yeah.
Give him some time and give him some help. Whatever I can do to help, because I'm in this relationship with you for 5 years, and you hit the rock bottom.
Right.
Out of the blue. That's a different setup. But if we're talking about, I came into this brand new, you came into this brand new, right? But your shit ain't right, or my shit ain't right. Our priorities are not where they need to be. You shouldn't be trying to date somebody when you're trying to figure out how to pay your rent.
Because it ain't gonna last. That's why. Yeah.
It ain't gonna last. That's gonna be
a relationship ain't gonna last at all. Yeah.
Finances is a point of conflict for a lot of relationships, and then it'll be more about that, where it's like, oh, you ain't never got no money, and you always asking me for stuff, you using me. And again, this is also in new relationships too, where it's like you went into it, you have your shit together. So I think again, it's all about having these discussions, which is why, like, everything isn't just surface. I think a lot of times when guys hear, oh, well, I don't want to date him if he ain't got no money, they think it's about gold digging.
Yeah.
Not about gold digging, because you also have to understand who's talking, right? Are we talking about no money like you ain't a millionaire? You ain't got to be a millionaire to date me.
No, of course not.
No.
You just got to be, you know what I'm saying, on point.
Yeah,
have your stuff right. You got your car, your crib, your bills is paid. Yeah, and you can take you out, like you said, and take care of the bill.
Yeah, we can enjoy each other, and it's not about, oh my God, I'm stressing every waking moment because this isn't right. But then you have girls where this is where you have to have these conversations, and you have females that are like, well, I don't want a guy that ain't got no money, but they want a millionaire. You don't need $1 million to survive.
No.
That's over surviving, which is great.
Right.
But it's not necessary.
Right.
So that's where those conversations are important, because you have to weed out, okay, what does this really mean? Not assuming at face value that it's always as it appears, because as I said that, I think if I'm remembering correctly, you were like, oh damn, that person gotta really have it like that. And it's like, no, they don't have to have it like that.
Right.
But have something.
Right.
Have something.
Just be grounded. Have your foundation proper.
Yeah.
Be grounded before you start dating. So it is very important to communicate, and it becomes a two-way street, because you've had that discussion, and now like you said, I'm in the kitchen doing the dishes, you vacuuming or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We're doing our thing together. So the key is to have a good foundation and to communicate. And yes, it is important for it to be a two-way street, because when it's one-sided, then things, you know what I'm saying, just get all messed up.
And I want to say too, stick to your boundaries. Don't over compromise and lose yourself in compromising with someone that hasn't really presented themselves, established themselves in your lives and presented themselves to be worthy of such a level of compromising. And even then, be you. Because if you're not being you, it's going to form resentment over time. You need to be you. It's okay to compromise, but understand the limits to that. Yeah. It's like, understand those limits to those boundaries, and also adhere to that, because that's really important and establishing that relationship, and especially when you're having discussions on the two-way street. Like, all of this is really formulated together, and it has to have all these different elements to work. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, baby. All right. Well, as always, click like and subscribe. And I'm going to end on the message of the day. Message of the day is be limitless. What I mean by that is, don't get complacent with that 9 to 5. Explore. You only live once. Do as many things as possible and live limitless. Try everything. I don't care if you fail. I failed, like they say. You know what I'm saying? Fail a million times. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't failed once, you ain't doing nothing. Fail a million times. But be limitless. Try everything. Do everything. Explore life. You only get to live once, so why not live it up? All right? We appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining us at OTA. It's your boy, Big Bro Dev, and the super producer, Miss Portia Royale. We out. See you next episode.